Welcome to an emergency edition of Andy and Ari on 3, presented by BetMGM. Yeah, that's the emergency sound. Sirens aren't loud enough for this one. Lane Kiffin is going to announce a decision after the Egg Bowl. That news comes from Keith Carter, the athletic director at Ole Miss. I will read the statement to you, Ari Wasserman. Coach Kiffin and I have had many pointed and positive conversations regarding his future at Ole Miss, including meeting today with Chancellor Boyce. While we discuss next steps, we know we cannot lose sight of what is most important, our 6th-ranked team that is poised to finish the regular season in historic fashion. Despite the outside noise, Coach Kiffin is focused on preparing our team for the Egg Bowl, and together we want to ensure that our players and coaches can concentrate fully on next Friday's game. The team is on the cusp of an unprecedented season, and it's imperative they feel the support of the Ole Miss family in the week ahead. An announcement on Coach Kiffin's future is expected the Saturday following the game. Translation: Florida and LSU fans, set your clocks, set your alarms for Saturday.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of? You ever watch sorry, I have strep throat, I think. And by the way, perfect time to get it way before the playoff starts, so I'm happy to have it. But it reminds me of a true crime documentary. And when something terrible happens and then the victims of the crime are harassed by a bunch of people on the internet who think they know what happened and then they don't know what they're talking about. It reminds me of this a little bit of it's just Lane Kiffin is a different cat, dude. Because you have to ask yourself this question. If he is going to stay, why not just announce it now? That is the question, right?
And that is what the chat is assuming. If I look at the chat, the assumption in the chat is this means he's leaving for Florida LSU. I will point out, I will reiterate just what Ari just said. Lane Kiffin is a different cat. I would not assume that this means he's leaving.
Yeah. And then there's all these people that get on the internet and they just start badgering people that are involved in something terrible. And it's you've never met these people. You don't know what's going on. Why do you have an opinion? Now, that's different here because we're college football fans and we should always have an opinion about what we think.
We all have an opinion, Ari. Get used to it.
Yeah, but I've never understood how you could have an opinion about a crime with people you've never met. But that said, let's try to come up with some good faith reasons why a person wouldn't just announce it right now. I can think of a few.
Well, here it is from FPS Doug. Kiffin is a troll, so that's possible. Fun. He is the ultimate troll and proud of it.
Do you know how much pressure I was feeling internally in my family when we made a decision and I made the decision to come to On 3? I could have used an extra 2 weeks. Maybe he's feeling a ton of internal pressure to make sure he does right by his team and he truly doesn't want to sign any documents, make any wholesale decisions about his future until he can be 100% focused on that.
Well, poor Mark. They're very naive, Mark. He met with Ole Miss today. He's staying. Mark, if he was definitely staying, that's what they would have announced today. It wouldn't have been he's going to announce it the next Saturday. Yeah. I don't think they know if he's staying. Otherwise, that's the one thing they could have said today. The one thing.
I don't know if your thought should be he's definitely leaving either.
Oh, I don't either.
Okay.
It's Lane Kiffin. And if it were anybody else, I'd be like, nah, he's gone.
Yeah. It seems like he's gone. I know what it seems like. Everybody has a brain. Everyone's looking at what's going on here. It seems like it. That said, did Detroit just get super lit the night of the Egg Bowl? Are we
so that's Friday. That's the game. We may be in Ann Arbor covering Ohio State, Michigan when the news pops.
Okay, so I didn't take it
the Iron Bowl may be going on when the news pops. I don't know.
My point is I'm anticipating that Lane Kiffin's going to get up to the podium like a WWE wrestler and tell us what he's doing in the post-game news conference of the Egg Bowl. It's I want to know now. It's over. We're waiting. I don't know.
He'll wring one more sleep of drama out of this. He will.
Yeah. So I think that part of the thing of Lane Kiffin being a troll is that he's enjoying this. Do you think he's enjoying this?
Yes. 100%.
I have a column that's bookmarked that I haven't read yet from Dan Wolkin. And it was basically just Lane Kiffin's the only person to blame in terms of what, and I haven't read it yet, so I don't want to put words in his mouth. But
the headline pretty much sums it up.
I figured that the headline was a pretty good indicator but
yeah.
I get mad when people get mad at me for having a headline without reading it, so I don't want to do that to Dan. But like my thought process is that like, is he laboring over this decision and having a really hard time with what he should do with his life, or do you think this is all a show?
I have no idea.
Like, I think he's having a hard time. I really do.
I'm not going to pretend that I know.
But I can appreciate
over this. I don't know if he's enjoying the hell out of this. It seems like he does enjoy the show being about him.
But I can appreciate the person being in the midst of a once-in-a-lifetime potentially season and having to come up with a definitive answer of what he's doing while he's coaching the kids that he loves right now. Because I think that there's going to be a lot of complaints and a lot of he's a backstabber and a lot of this and that if he decides to leave. And I know for a fact, I don't know him the way you do, but I know for a fact he's struggling with the timing of this.
Well, anybody would struggle with the timing of this.
So, I mean, like, you love Trinidad Chambliss. I'm sure you think about him when you're thinking about your future, but you also have to do right by yourself. It's kind of an unwinnable situation.
Well, listen, this doesn't even take us to what happens after. Because they're going to be in the playoff, probably win or lose, but if they win, they're definitely going to be in the playoff. And if he says he's going somewhere else, I'm not sure they're going to let him coach.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were also like living under the assumption that ultimatum was going to take place before the Egg Bowl. So if anything else, did they come to an agreement to kick the can down the road too?
I think that's what this was. I think this was, we don't have to do this now, so let's not do this now. And it gives Ole Miss a chance to keep pushing for an extension. Here's the thing. The more I think about it, and Brett McMurphy, our colleague at On3, did a survey of athletic directors this week and said, would you let Lane Kiffin coach if he told you he was going to another school, coaching the playoff, not the Egg Bowl? And they said no, overwhelmingly. And it's like, you think about it, it's like, okay, but we can all be grown-ups about this. He can go, well, no, if he takes the LSU or the Florida job, he's got to start recruiting for LSU in Florida.
I don't.
Guess who he might actually end up recruiting for LSU in Florida?
Yeah.
Some Ole Miss players.
I mean, I think that if you can come to an agreement, though, like an adult saying, hey, and I don't know if it's impossible to do that, but come to a gentleman's agreement to say, hey, you can recruit whoever you want. Don't recruit your roster till you leave.
I don't think you can do that in this day and age. Also, the players at Ole Miss who want to follow him, even if he's not actively recruiting them, are going to be like, Coach, I want to come with. How do I come with?
Yeah. And I guess if you have direct access to him in your own building, that would be problematic. Now, let me ask you this, because I'm an idiot and I don't know how the law works. I'm still trying to pay a speeding ticket I got in Vail. Looks like it's going to get thrown out, though. Andy, can they sign a legal document that says you can take the job and the only way that will let you continue through here is if you sign a document that says you can't have any of the players on your team to come with you? Is that possible?
You can sign anything. You can have any kind of document.
Then you're also infringing on the rights of the players. So then that's when it becomes problematic. So
it's very difficult any way you look at it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a nice way for him to do what he wants to do, whether that's stay or leave, while also being able to see through his work.
I don't think there's a way, which is terrible, but I'm not sure there's a way. And it's interesting because, like, I do think, let's say John Sumrall and Tulane make the playoff, and John Sumrall gets the Auburn job or the Florida job or whatever. I think if you're going from Tulane to one of those places, you can do that. And Tulane's probably like, hey, we're happy to be in the playoff. You keep coaching us. That's fine. If you're going to take some of our players, we kind of expected that.
Yeah, and also that's a good trade-off for them. Like that.
It's different if you're in their own conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I feel it. Is there anything good that can happen? 7 more nights of sleep.
Well, good. Define good. If you're a Florida fan, good is Lane Kiffin's coming to Florida. If you're an LSU fan, good is Lane Kiffin's coming to LSU. If you're an Ole Miss fan, good is Lane Kiffin is staying at Ole Miss.
Yeah, well, all I know is if the decision hasn't been made today, and he has 7 more nights of sleep, that's 7 more nights of Lane Kiffin sleep. And wherever that leads, like, I'm not going to act like I know.
It ends with hot yoga. We all know that.
Yeah. But like, we were all like on pins and needles because we were like, I mean, I was afraid to leave my house today because like, I was like, this could happen at any moment.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you knew because they're meeting, you knew there was a possibility that it might just blow up. But it sounds like it didn't. I mean, obviously they had discussed, but I want to read Keith Carter's statement again. Can I add in what I think Keith Carter probably wanted to say here?
Sure.
Coach Kiffin and I have had many pointed and positive conversations. I don't think he wanted to include in positive. He probably wanted to just say many pointed conversations like, Lane, what are you doing? Lane, what are you doing? Lane, what are you doing? Lane, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's no answer yet.
Well, some of the pointed conversation also could have been, what is it that those two places can offer you that we don't? And is it in my power to provide you with those things? You know, like,
sure.
I think that's also a large part of it.
Yeah. And that's, I do want to point something out here with everybody, because I've noticed this from all the fan bases involved. And they're like, well, we can pay more money. No, we can pay more. This is not going to be about money.
Mm-mm.
All of you are going to offer basically the same amount of money.
Yeah.
That is not going to decide this thing.
And that's what also makes it frustrating too about like the decision, because it's like, you know, if you're happy there, you know what you want. Like, I don't know how much more time is going to like aid in the decision. You know, like anytime you make a tough decision, you know in your gut pretty early on what you want to do or what you want for yourself.
If we're laying odds, is it now more than 50-50 that he's going to one of the other two?
I think that him staying has to be an underdog now for sure.
I would think so. Because again, it's the one thing you could have come out and said today.
Yeah.
Now, this could be an elaborate troll job. And on Saturday of next week, he gets up at a podium and does the Jordan Belfort speech. But that seems less likely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's good for us. I mean, hell, we get to talk about this for another week. We get to follow.
It's good for everybody who's not a fan of one of the schools involved.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is just being entertained by this.
But also,
if you're a Florida fan, an LSU fan, or an Ole Miss fan, you are dying inside.
Yeah. You know, it's also like if you're a Florida or LSU fan, like, yes, he's leaving. Is only like half the battle.
Wait, only one of us can get him. Yeah. Oh, crap.
You could still like advance into the, I mean, he still only needs to pick 1 out of 3, and him leaving means there's 2 options still.
Yeah, exactly. One of them might not be you.
It's like I have a hard time too, because there's so many people in the know in our business and people who we work with, but it felt like LSU had momentum last night based on the way the internet felt.
The thing is, there was a point last Friday, so a week ago today, like last Friday night, when everybody in Gainesville was 100%. I'm not talking about just like the residents of Gainesville. I'm talking about the people at UF. We're 100% convinced he was coming to UF. 100%. Okay. By Sunday morning, that had completely dissipated. And then the LSU momentum started. But then the LSU momentum faded. And so
signing day right now, doesn't it?
It does. It's the best. Like, is Lane Kiffin's kid going to steal the facts? That's the question.
I don't know. That would be cool if he like faxed in his decision somewhere. Where would he fax it to?
I guess to the school that got him.
Yeah. It's wild times. But you know what? Like,
you get a busy signal if he's at Ole Miss trying to fax Ole Miss?
Yeah. Maybe.
Technology joke. Sorry, young people.
Like, I do feel for Ole Miss fans, because it's just like this time of year, like heading into Thanksgiving, you know, heading into a rivalry week, with a playoff spot all but locked up. Like, you're supposed to be like reveling in this and like enjoying it. And I hope that you're still, while frustrated with what your coach is considering and the way that this is playing out, can still take a step back or two and look up and say, hey, you know what, we're going to be in this thing. And whether Lane's on the sideline or not, you know, we have a really good team and maybe we'll do something special. So, you know, I don't like when somebody tweeted this, you've said it, like college football is the biggest, most popular reality television show on the planet. And I feel like a lot of the most interesting things that we talk about on the show are things that don't happen on Saturdays in the fall.
This would never happen in the NFL. Never. Like, can you? What would even be the equivalent of this? This would be like, somebody's coaching. Somebody's coaching. I'm trying to find the right equivalent to Ole Miss here. The Falcons coach is trying to decide between coaching the Cowboys and coaching the Eagles.
Are the jobs? I know in the NFL, like certain,
but he might stay with the Falcons.
Certain front offices are more dysfunctional than others. But like, is there like a clear line of demarcation in the sand between like good and bad NFL job, or like,
whether you have smart ownership or dumb ownership, that's pretty much it.
How many teams in the NFL would you say have dumb ownership? Like 5 of the 32 teams?
Probably, yeah. So then it just comes down to how do you draft? Do you have a quarterback?
Yeah. How do you draft? Do you have a quarterback, and like where's it located? But like I feel like the lines in college football between like it's starting to feel more like the NFL, and that like it's not so cut and dry.
It's really not, and that's been the interesting thing about all this. We've said this all along, is that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Ole Miss has no shot in this situation. Ole Miss has a shot now because you can win the national title at Ole Miss. In fact, Ole Miss is currently much closer to winning the national title than Florida or LSU is.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss is actually going to make the tournament to play for it.
And it's not like the locations of those schools is changing. Like, it's like, do you want to live in Florida or not, man? Like, it's... And I mean, I think you can make the case, too, that even after what happens this year, that Florida is still further away. I don't know. Florida is a quick fix. LSU is a quick fix. We could do like 10 videos.
Ole Miss is already in the playoff. Like that, they're all good. It's all good.
It just seems like it's just down to personal preference. And I think the frustrating thing is that we're waiting for weeks to figure out what his personal preference.
Well, and that's what's going to kill the two fan bases of the schools he does not choose, because it's just going to be he liked the one he picked better. And that's going to bug the hell out of people.
That's just like anything in life. I mean, I like brunettes better than blondes. It doesn't mean the blondes are ugly. It's just my preference.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm a brunette guy.
Yeah, you did marry one, so
yeah,
you better say that.
I mean, it's true. I wouldn't have married not my type. I don't know if I'm her type though, but that's.
By the way, we have people from Florida and Louisiana just fighting each other in the chat about where is better to live.
Dude, you just got. Some random guy just like insulted you. Gainesville sucks. Bunch of honkies live there. That's you, man.
What's spot the lie?
I don't see one.
I am a honky. I mean, you've met me. You can see me on the video.
I was 5% afraid that was a slur, and I wasn't sure of it because I don't know those things. But yeah, you are, and you do live there. But I like Gainesville. It's a nice place.
Yeah, this whole thing has been absolutely crazy. Okay, producer River put up a poll. 356 votes in the poll so far. 46 says he goes to LSU. 31% says he goes to Florida. 21% says he stays at Ole Miss.
And the poll results are just who do you happen to root for, and if you're in here right now.
Correct. Well, no, I think the people with no rooting interest probably have their opinions about where they think is a better job.
Yeah.
That said, there's only one person who will decide this, and it's Lane Kiffin, and none of us think like him. It is very clear we don't think like him. He's different from the rest of us. Yeah. So if we think that we know, we don't.
But guess what, Andy? The lovely people in the chat, they've got us. We'll be ready to go live the second we know. When we know, you'll know.
Yeah. And we might be at Michigan Stadium when we find out.
We might be in a casino too.
Yeah, hopefully. We might be at a casino in Detroit. Okay, we still have 2,000 people watching live. Like we got to get into this. Do we think this thing's gonna leak?
Yes, it always does.
When does it leak?
Friday evening.
I think that's what I'm thinking too.
You want to know why?
Very, very hard to keep a lid on it, whatever it is.
Well, here's the deal. My understanding is, based on this release, and you tell me if I'm reading it wrong, that they were going to have I don't know if there's a better word than ultimatum, but the ultimatum felt like it was going to be either tell us before the Egg Bowl or you're not coaching in the Egg Bowl. Today felt like they made an agreement through mutual understanding to extend that deadline past the Egg Bowl. But if but it won't extend into the playoff. So assuming that they won't be in the SEC championship game, which it doesn't look like they will be, the second the Egg Bowl's over with, now you're in, are you coaching the playoff mode? Like
yes,
that's
he
where
will.
we're at.
He will have a press conference immediately after the Egg Bowl, and he can say, "I'm not saying anything about that tonight. This is about tonight. This is about the players." He can say it, but that won't stop people from asking. It won't stop people from digging.
It will. It will leak.
The Chastain in the chat. Let Hayes make the graphic. For those who don't know, Hayes Fawcett's the person who makes the recruiting graphics at On3. So like when a player commits, that's who makes the graphic. I had Hayes make me a graphic when I joined On3. Listen, I would not be shocked. We call them edits in the business. I wouldn't be shocked if Hayes makes a Lane Kiffin edit.
I wonder if the leaks will become like a succession of like report Lane Kiffin will not return to Ole Miss, and then the second one will be like it'll be more than one.
And it's funny because people will think whoever's doing it, whether it's us or some other outlet, is doing it for dramatic purposes. That's probably not why. Like if you find out where he's going, you're just gonna report where he's going.
I mean, it's gonna leak the second Ole Miss finds out, and then whether that means that he decided where he's going.
If he's not staying, if he's staying, they'll try to keep a lid on it to have the biggest possible pop and take the shine. Yeah.
If Ole Miss finds out in the 24 hours after the Egg Bowl that he's not coming, we're not making it through the weekend without some insight on that.
Correct. Well, I mean, we're probably not making it through Friday night. Probably not making it to kickoff of Michigan, Ohio State at noon Saturday before that happened.
Yeah. So we'll just have to, maybe we'll be setting up the camera in the press box and we'll go live there. I don't know. But yeah, if Hayes doesn't have a graphic made for all three options already, then I don't know what the man's doing.
No, I trust Hayes completely. I know he's got it. Yeah. So this is going to be absolutely wild.
It does.
And it's crazy.
It works well for us because now I don't have to like freak out on the airplane.
Oh, when you're flying up there?
Like just Thanksgiving travel and stuff, we all can just kind of just get to where we're going. And, like I don't want to be on the airplane on Friday morning anxious, that I'm going to be on the plane when it happens. So, we will be together when it does.
The edit should have Kiffin in jorts if he takes Florida.
And how often do you see people in jorts in Florida? Is that like just a joke or do you see it a lot?
Oh, I see it. There's a good chunk of the population that rocks the jorts.
Okay, so if I said I'm going to send you to the grocery store right now when we hang up, you're done.
Yeah.
If you see a person in jorts, you die. But if you don't, I'll give you $1 million. Would you do it?
I would die.
Yeah, okay. So it's like
especially my grocery store.
Okay.
The jort report from Andy. I'd be dead.
The next time you see jorts,
actually, I tell you what. There's a Publix that's right near my house, and there's one that's about 3 miles in another direction. If I go the 3 miles in another direction, that's heavy athleisure, Lululemon, bougie neighborhood Publix. Good chance I survive. If I go to the one by my house, no chance I survive.
Okay, so you see them every day, basically.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not just. And by the way, what's wrong with jorts? Those used to be awesome. I wore jorts in high school, I think.
I did, and I wore them my freshman year of college, and then I was.
And then you got married.
Beaten out of me. Beaten out of me. Ari, this is going to be a crazy week. So the Egg Bowl's Friday, huge games, but we also got games tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got Missouri at Oklahoma in the noon window. Big playoff implications for Oklahoma, obviously. Huge game in the afternoon. USC at Oregon. Massive playoff implications. The winner, if it's USC, is still alive. Oregon is in, I think, if they win that game. But it is a big, big game. At night, we've got BYU Cincinnati, which has Big 12 playoff implications. We've got Kentucky Vanderbilt in the afternoon. That has playoff implications. Louisville SMU, which affects the ACC race. Pitt Georgia Tech, which affects the ACC race. Lot going on Saturday. So we will be here with instant reaction shows. We should probably have one in the late afternoon window, and we definitely have one at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time when all the games are over. So don't know that we're going to learn any more about Lane Kiffin for a little bit, but that's okay. We got some games to keep us company, and then Ari, the watch continues.
as we've progressed through the week too, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the slate sucks this weekend. It really doesn't suck. There's a good game in every win.
And the thing is, games I didn't mention, like Nebraska, Penn State. I want to see TJ Lateef playing for Nebraska. He was great in his first start against UCLA, and this is against obviously a much better group of athletes on defense. Florida, Tennessee is always interesting.
Yeah.
So
look at every window.
There's a lot going on.
OU, Mizzou at noon. You have the game of the week at 3:30, and then 7 you've got Pitt, Georgia Tech. 8 o'clock you've got BYU, Cincinnati.
Hell, in a few hours we got Florida State and NC State. I'll be watching that. I'll be locked in.
Yeah. Ari loves trampling all over a good close. Andy, I do that. Go ahead, close it out for us.
You do that. You do all over them. That's true. Thank you so much for joining us. We will talk to you after games on Saturday.